Hello, my name is Andrew Keener, and I'm the founder and CEO of Keener Strategy, Chicago's finest for scaled agile training, consulting, and workshops. Thank you for joining me for an introduction to the Scaled Agile Framework. In this video, we will explore how we implement lean agile practices at the program level, scaling our teams with an agile release train. This is critical to understanding the foundations of the Scaled Agile Framework. If you have any questions after this introduction, feel free to reach out to me directly anytime by email, andrew@keenerstrategy.com. The Agile Release Train truly takes a systems view. It brings together the people we need to deliver large amounts of value. That includes our business owners, our representatives from the customer, product management, architecture, systems engineering, UX, hardware, software, testing, people involved in manufacturing or deployment of our solution. And we create this virtual program. That virtual organization now has the skills we need for every team to execute large-scale value. The Agile Release Train needs to be cross-functional. It typically contains between 50 to 125 people. The Agile Release Train synchronizes its work with PI planning. That's program increment planning. Michael Kennedy explains it as, future product development tasks cannot be predetermined, so we must distribute planning and control to those who can understand and react to the end results. There's no better way to do this than to get as many people as we can to plan in person, face-to-face, where communication is most effective. Here you can see a picture of a distributed planning session. There's actually 3 companies that work here. There's a large group in Mumbai, India, not present on site. There's a lot of folks from Chicago and some leads and managers from the teams in Serbia. They're all planning together over a 2-day period. Typically, program increment planning is face-to-face, but if it's an extremely large organization distributed across the globe, it's possible you may not be able to have everybody face-to-face every time. Management sets the mission with minimal possible constraints. That's a key philosophy of lean thinking. Requirements and design need to emerge. We talk about emergent design as one of the key aspects of Agile, and it emerges here. We call this PI planning, but there's far more than planning that happens. People collaborate, they determine new requirements, they negotiate teams, scope, dependencies, and metrics. Business owners add features and take out features to change scope based upon actual capacity. Important stakeholder decisions are accelerated in a day, not after 6 weeks of emails banging around trying to find the right person to make the decision. They do it right now, on the spot. In this picture, one group of managers at a PI planning had a sign that said, "Help desk, we're here to help." That was a great thing. It underscored the important construct that if decisions need to be made, that manager, could make those decisions. Ultimately, teams create and take responsibility for the plans, and that's a big difference from old school command and control centralized program planning models. In this case, management sets the vision, but the teams create the plans to execute them. Then they start iterating. They do this in a construct called sprints, and they do it together on a synchronized cadence. Then they demonstrate the full system working software every 2 weeks, the typical increment length. It's an integrated solution demo. It's every aspect of the solution that you need in order to understand the actual progress of the value created for its consumer. It's the one and only truly objective milestone. If the team can't build the system or show new functionality in a couple of weeks, something's probably wrong with their infrastructure or team configuration. Maybe they don't have the people they need. Maybe it's not a fully cross-functional team yet. Also, they demo from the staging environment. As we move toward deployment, we want to make sure we're demoing from an environment that's very near the production or deployment environment and that it represents a stable candidate build for the next release. The teams also inspect and adapt at every PI, scaling the retrospective. They systematically address the larger impediments that are program-wide. They do so in a very structured problem-solving workshop. Step 1 of the workshop is for teams to agree on the problem to solve. Step 2, they apply root cause analysis. Step 3, they identify the biggest root cause using Pareto analysis, where often 20% of the causes is actually the root cause, bringing about 80% of the problem. In step 4, you restate that root cause now that you have truly honed in on the problem that must be solved. In step 5, if you're really close now, you can move directly to coming up with solutions. But the most important step is step 6. You create backlog items and improvement stories to take into PI planning. That way, you can implement these improvements and see the benefits in velocity and productivity that those process improvements or program improvements help you achieve. Now, once we have our cross-functional teams and cross-functional agile release trains and programs that can execute and deliver working solutions in a time box, we're able to build a portfolio that's organized around value. In order to do that, we must first identify and organize the actual value streams. How does value flow through this organization? How do the teams and systems support that? Sometimes those value streams are operational, something we do in manufacturing, and the systems that support that are manufacturing systems. Other times it's a value stream where the team builds the solution themselves and ships and hosts the solution, and that's a development value stream. So we first want to understand the value streams and the organization as they relate to one another. We communicate the enterprise strategy with strategic themes, a simple connector that makes sure that we're building what makes sense for the enterprise. We empower decision makers with lean agile budgeting. There's a pretty good article on the site that you might want to read about what's different in lean agile budgeting versus traditional project cost accounting. And we provide visibility and governance to cross-cutting initiatives using Kanban. Kanban is used throughout the Scaled Agile framework as a way to visualize work and essentially understand and manage work in process so that we can match demand to capacity. Because when you overload the capacity with an excess of demand, things don't go faster just because there's more stuff in the system. Things actually go slower because of multiplexing and task switching. For those of us building systems of modest scale, maybe systems or software products that you can build with 30 to 50 practitioners, or those without a lot of dependencies between them, what we've shown you so far is all you'll need: the team, the program, and a portfolio of continuous funding. But when you hit the expand button shown here, you'll get a 4th level, the value stream level. And this is designed for people designing really, really big systems, high assurance systems, cyber physical systems, trading systems. These are systems that require hundreds and hundreds of people and typically many types of subsystems in order to build the larger solution. Well, let's look at the value stream level in a little more detail. Of course, if we apply cadence and synchronization, well, we always do. We use the same PI schedule that we did before, but now we're thinking about the fact that the individual trains need to work together to deliver the larger solution. We need to establish some governance with value stream roles and an economic framework. Those are deep articles on the site that you can dive into at your leisure, or feel free to reach out to me anytime. We manage what we call fixed and variable solution intent. So now we can introduce the notion of the solution itself. Earlier we had said that stories and features were all we used. We didn't talk about them much, but we weren't overly concerned about that. But now, we really do have to know exactly what this system does at all times. And we manage the flow of capabilities within the value stream Kanban, similar to the portfolio Kanban. And again, we integrate frequently, delivering continuously. We frequently integrate and then validate customer solutions. Now, your next step is to gain the knowledge. If you need information on upcoming classes and more, check our website, www.keenerstrategy.com. If you have any questions after this introduction about the slides or its contents, feel free to reach out to me directly anytime by email, andrew@keenerstrategy.com. You can also explore the SAFE knowledge base and find other free resources at scaledagileFramework.com.